Okay, we're at EA's headquarters in Guildford. We're here to look at next-gen FIFA. I've been joined by Nick Channon. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good.
Thank you. So, you've been working on the FIFA series for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
How many years?
It's my fourth, I think.
Your fourth year. And how would you describe the evolution that the series has undergone during that period of time?
I think it's been great. I mean, ultimately in that time we've seen a number of changes. We've seen huge growth in FIFA Ultimate Team, just the popularity of that mode becoming our most popular mode in the game. In FIFA 12 we introduced FIFA the Seasons mode, which became very sort of addictive for people in the fact that getting that sort of head-to-head feeling within in online. It wasn't just a win-loss record. You actually could get promoted and relegated in divisions. So there's some really big changes there. Obviously some great innovations in career mode with Global Transfer Network this year. The introductions of internationals last year. But really over that time in gameplay, obviously that's always the key for us. Is how do we innovate in gameplay? And in that time we've seen tactical defending brought in. Player impact engine was brought in 12. This year we did the changes to the movement, to the sprint dribbling, protect the ball. Last year we did first touch control. So, deep innovations in gameplay. It's changed it. Has significantly changed the game, making it more authentic, making it more fun. So we're really pleased with how the game's evolved and over the last couple of years. Really excited about it.
Okay, so given that there's been like a slow introduction of new features over the last few years, how would you describe the change with the next gen? What was that leap like relative to the evolution over the last 4 or 5 years?
When we sort of started out on this, there was a couple of things that we wanted to make sure that we'd done. If you look previously at transitions, the games themselves on the new consoles didn't always match the features of the previous console. So that was something we were very conscious of. We wanted to make sure that all the most popular modes within our game, all the major modes were there. They were also there in to the same extent that the HD version had been. So making sure that this year had co-op seasons added, making sure that the new features in career mode are added and the chemistry styles was added to FIFA Ultimate Team. So that was the first consideration, was making sure that was there. And then secondly, for us on the new console, how can we do deep innovation in gameplay and how can we change the presentation within the game? We wanted the game to feel different to any sort of FIFA game you've seen before. So, that's kind of the approach that we took. It's been great to be able to use the EA Sports Ignite engine, and it's really about using the processing power and the memory, just so much more processing power, more memory on the new consoles. So we now be able to do significantly more processing around the physics system, which is obviously core to our game. And we've also been able to add significantly more animations, which changes the feel, the look, the fluidity within the game as well.
So which you touched on more animations and kind of improved AI and that kind of thing. What element of game do you think will be impacted most by the new hardware and the new firepower that you've got to play around with?
Yes, I mean, we talked about this human intelligence, the pro instincts that we can now give the players. For me, that's a huge change. What we're doing is, we had the player impact engine. We brought that in FIFA 12. That's how players collide. Previously, when players would collide, it would look really good, but they didn't really have an awareness of what was about to happen. Because we've got this more processing power, we can now give them full anticipation and awareness, which is something we previously couldn't do. So now they can brace for an impact. If a leg comes in with a slide tackle, they can now try and avoid it. But where I think it's really playing out is in that physical interaction between two players. It feels more grounded, it feels more natural. It also means that we can use body position now to win back the ball, and I think that's a huge change. It's something we just couldn't do before, in the way that we are now. And I think the way two players, interact within our game is just been taken to another level.
How's it been working with the new Ignite engine then?
It's good. I mean, it's great. I think it's something that, we've been working on for years. There's the elements in there. It's a suite of technologies that allow us to do things in a manner that, we can now do on the new consoles. It allows us to get there quickly. So it's been that aligned with the new horsepower of the machines has been, it's been great this year.
What kind of difference do the new controllers make to the experience, and how have you kind of worked towards kind of taking advantage of their individual strengths?
For us, it was just making sure that the game carried over well. We wanted to make sure that the game felt more fluid, and as we've already talked about around the interactions between players. So for us, it was just making sure that the game still had that fluid feel. We could enhance it, and making sure that that there was no issues there. So in terms of that, for us, it's just making sure that the game has that fluidity that we really wanted on the new consoles.
And do you have a particular favourite brand of controller?
No. I mean, ultimately they're both great, and it's been a pleasure to work on both machines actually.
Okay, and how have you been implementing the Kinect and the PlayStation Eye, and how's that kind of figured into your planning?
So Kinect is something that we've obviously got the voice support for. It's something that we wanted to make sure that it was just making it easier for users to do some of the tactics and substitution changes within the game without having to come out of the menu. So you can change tactical options, you can do substitutions, all just using voice. In terms of the Kinect Eye, it's not something we've particularly pushed this year.
One of the core pillars of FIFA over recent years has been kind of pushing that connection between the fans and their actual clubs.
Yeah.
How are you taking advantage of the kind of the increased social nature of the next gen consoles to kind of push that further?
So for us, we've got obviously EA Sports Football Club. It's something we introduced a couple of years ago. So we've now got in there, you've got the system in there to do to look at what your friends are doing, to see how they're playing. You can send messages to your friends. You can range a game. We think that's really important. To enhance those features, social is becoming more important in any game right now. So EA Sports Football Club is sort of the heartbeat of that for us, and there's a number of elements in the game this year which will help that social nature.
There are also going to be some kind of key differences between the two versions, not in terms of the way that they play, but the content that players will get. Would you be able to kind of talk us through what's different with the Xbox One version?
Yeah, so I mean, ultimately the core feature set between PlayStation 4 and Xbox One is the same. There's only one difference. There is one exclusive feature for Xbox One, actually for the Xbox consoles, 360 as well, and that is the introduction of Legends into FIFA Ultimate Team. So, we have 42 Legends, which is great. I think the spread of the types of players that we have, recently retired players, older players that haven't played for years. There's a really nice balance there. Obviously, great mix by position as well and nationality. So 42 players in there. There will be rare players. There'll be some of the rarer items within FIFA Ultimate Team. It's across 360 and Xbox One. We'll be doing obviously the usual things within FUT, that we're promoting players. There'll be a happy hour type thing. So really excited to be bringing that in there. I think it brings a whole new element to the game, and it's really nice to be able to blend the modern players with some of the legends from the past.
What do you think is the thing that fans are going to notice most about next-gen FIFA? What's going to stand out to players?
I mean, for me, I kind of already mentioned it. For me, that the one thing is the human intelligence, the pro instincts, the feeling between the two players. If I was to look at other things as well, clearly the first thing you're going to notice is a new camera. So there's a new default camera. It's lower. It brings the crowd in, which is what we really wanted to do. Now we have the full 3D crowd. We really wanted to bring them into the scene because it really changes the atmosphere and the feeling of the game. The other thing is we got a lot of feedback about replays. I think that the replays now are authentic to broadcast, and it's just stunning to see. And you kind of sit there and watch your goals, and it's like, whoa, that looks incredible. And I really like the fact now that you get certain angles at times where you get that contrast between the celebration of the player, the goal going in, and then the reaction of the crowd. So, depending on which end of the stadium you're at, you've got the home and away fans. You get that lovely contrast of, if the home team just scored, the home fans are going up to celebrate, and there's, the away fans are like, dejected. And then, the feeling of the game, I think, the fact that we can add hundreds of new animations through sort of the elite technique is not just, it's not just a variety thing. The fact that we can now have different animations, different passes makes the game feel more fluid. It feels more natural. It's like, okay, the ball did that because of that animation. Oh, I get it. At times when you've got similar animations playing in different situations, that it doesn't always feel as fluid, and I think that's another big but other huge change as well.
You kind of keep the game moving, like with the quick throw-ins, and you kind of link everything together. How do you make sure that, because you've introduced replays for skill moments and things like that? How do you make sure that the replays don't kind of interfere with the flow of the game?
I think for us it's because it's where do they naturally fit, so they don't pop up all the time. It's if something's happened, maybe there's a near miss, or it's like the example we showed earlier was Falcao scoring or doing a skill move. If you then just missed, it's like, oh, it's relevant to that player. We'll show a replay, and I think that's what you're just used to. And I think if people are used to something because they see it on TV, it feels very natural. So it's that natural flow of the game that we wanted to create without this constant stoppage. So I think especially when it's geared around yourself, if it's something you've done, it's cool, and it's like showing off what you've seen. And I think when you see replays of things that you've done, it's like, actually that is very cool, and it's just reliving those cool moments that you've done.
Okay, we've not got long to the launch of the next gen consoles. What have you got left to do? How's it looking?
Good. Obviously you're playing the full game right now. It's not completely done, but we're close. It's always a challenge to make a game for a new console. I don't think anyone would say it's easy, but we're using the Ignite engine. We have an amazing team back in Vancouver doing this. We couldn't be happier with where we are right now. The feedback we've got on the game is very positive. We're very happy with the game itself, with the way it's playing, the way it looks. So for us now, it's just finishing it off and getting excited for launch. Can't wait.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Cheers.